So I recently rewatched Velocity Dave's era of Doctor Who, and I've realised how great some of the one-time monsters are in some of the best episodes of the modern era. So I'm going to be telling you why great one-time villains should not be brought back. Think back to some of the most memorable episodes of the era that stand the test of time. And for me, they are the ones that are unique, the ones that tend to have the unique villains. We have had great villains such as the Vashta Narada, the Flood and the Midnight Entity from some of the most incredible episodes in the era, making some of my favourites all time. These especially in Series 4. You could even consider them some of the scariest in the entire show. Personally, I think they are much better due to the monsters not being brought back in the show at a later date. Let's take the Vashta Narada for example. Now the 10th Doctor described it as unstoppable. Bringing it back I feel like will just bring an opportunity for it to be beaten, worked around and make it less menacing. Not doing so keeps its threat up, makes it a threat and a massive danger. Keeping a villain threatening is important, really important, as it makes it much more memorable and it also makes the episode much more memorable. Now let's look back at why you shouldn't bring great monsters back. And the example I'm going to use here is the Weeping Angels, who were once considered one of the most best villains in the show, with the most scariest episode, Blink, being considered a modern classic, being scary, clever and unique in Series 3. But after Moffat took over and keep bringing them back during the Matt Smith era, somewhat cheapened these villains if you ask me. Now, I know they're only in 2 episodes as the main villain, but their constant cameos in other media really seem to overuse them, and each of their appearances were much more weaker than Blink was, and somewhat changed the lore. They feel much more cheap and just another recurring villain rather than a great one like the ones I mentioned earlier. But from the latest Series 13 filming pics, we have pretty much confirmed that they are coming back for this series. I hope they can be written much better and bring some more fear back into them and make them much more unique than as they were in Blink rather than in the later times. Even with villains that recur a lot, like the Daleks or the Cybermen, I feel like they've just become useless and wasted and just another villain. Now personally, I don't think there's been a great episode of either of these since Russell left, with the Series 10 finale being an exception, of course. Now in the Chibnall era, they have improved slightly. There are great ideas in there and they've tried, but they seem to have been sidelined. The Series 12 finale is a great example of how the Cybermen were sidelined for the timeless children's story. And sorry, the Cybermasters, both in name and look, are just super dumb. And I know a lot of fans have said this, but in order to make the Daleks or the Cybermen scary again, they really need to go into a hiatus of about 4 or 5 years, and then make their return grand and awesome. That, I think, will do really good for these villains and make them much more fearable, much more intimidating, and far less cheap and just another villain. We need to make them unique. They are the face of the show. So I hope you enjoy this little look back I just did. Personally, this is something that bothers me a lot. And I really want to see more villains just not brought back because it keeps the episodes great in my opinion. So be sure to interact with the channel in any way possible. A like and a comment is very appreciated. And of course, that lovely subscribe. Another thank you for watching. Be sure to check the other videos out and I'll see you in another video. Bye bye.